In the winter of 1242, an elite crusading force was sweeping across Eastern Europe. Clad in impenetrable steel armor, the Teutonic Knights operated as a terrifying, mechanized vanguard. Backed by the institutional might and financial resources of Rome, their objective was absolute: crush the independent Republic of Novgorod. Their core military asset was heavy cavalry. These multi-ton formations of enormous warhorses and heavily armed riders were designed specifically to smash through infantry lines like a physical battering ram. Equipped with premium European steel and a flawless string of brutal victories, the Knights presented a tactical problem that could not be solved in a standard open-field engagement. Standing in their path was the young Prince Alexander Nevsky. His forces were a mismatched coalition of local militia, regional foot soldiers, and lightly armored archers. If Nevsky retreated behind his walls, the Knights would simply surround the perimeter, cut the supply lines, and subject the population to starvation. Conversely, meeting the Crusaders on solid, level ground meant his light infantry would be instantly trampled by the sheer mass of the incoming charge. Facing a strict logistical dead end, Nevsky realized conventional military doctrine would guarantee his annihilation. He had to change the rules of the battlefield entirely. To stop an invincible army, a commander must turn their enemy's greatest asset into their executioner. Nevsky scouted the extreme northern geography for a natural anomaly capable of neutralizing a cavalry charge. He found his arena on the massive expanse of Lake Peipus. To the naked eye, the thick winter ice appeared as solid as rock. However, local scouts understood the lake's deep topography. Underwater currents behaved erratically, continuously eroding the frozen sheet from underneath and carving away the bottom layers. What looked like a frozen plateau was actually a dangerously thin snare, perfectly calibrated to collapse under immense weight. In the freezing dawn of April 5th, Nevsky initiated a massive tactical gamble. He deliberately marched his entire army out onto the ice sheet. He arranged his lines with calculated restraint, intentionally placing his lightest, least equipped infantry right at the center of the formation. This presented a disorganized cluster of peasants to the Teutonic commanders watching from the shoreline, an irresistible exposed target. The Crusader elite took the bait entirely. They sounded their war horns, lowered their lances, and launched a full heavy cavalry charge. Relying purely on technological dominance, the Knights neglected to scout the environmental conditions beneath their boots. Nevsky had successfully weaponized their blind arrogance, tricking an elite military force into eagerly accelerating straight toward their own destruction. Thousands of tons of armored horses and steel-clad men thundered across the frozen white landscape, slamming directly into the Russian lines with terrifying force. True to the plan, the light Russian infantry absorbed the initial shock and deliberately buckled backward. This controlled tactical retreat slowly pulled the overconfident Crusaders deeper onto the lake, right over the exact center of the fragile ice sheet. As the enemy clustered tightly to finish off the retreating troops, Nevsky gave the signal. Hidden flank forces erupted from the snowy banks, quickly sealing off the sides. Suddenly, the Teutonic Knights found themselves completely encircled, jammed shoulder to shoulder in a dense, disorganized mass of men and heavy horses. By trapping them in one spot, Nevsky created a catastrophic concentration of mass. Control of the battlefield instantly transferred from military tactics to pure environmental physics. Under the immense weight of the armored vanguard, the thin winter ice began to groan. Sharp, spiderweb cracks shot rapidly across the white surface. Panic rippled through the Crusader ranks. But weighed down by 60 pounds of premium plate armor, quick movement was completely impossible. With a deafening roar, the ice sheet shattered completely. The freezing waters violently swallowed the vanguard whole, dragging the elite Crusaders straight to the bottom. The engagement collapsed into a rout. The few who avoided drowning were easily picked off by Nevsky's highly mobile forces, who moved swiftly across the stable edges of the lake. In a single afternoon, the eastward expansion of the Crusader orders was permanently halted, securing the borders and laying geopolitical foundations for the Russian Empire. Raw military dominance and technological superiority mean nothing if you fail to calculate the baseline physics of your environment. You don't need to break an empire's armor if you simply let the earth do it for you.